So before we begin, let's just breathe in. Come into Talasana with your hands over your head, arms behind your shoulder or behind your ears. Not too tense, just keep it relaxed. Bring your palms together. Sweep your hands forward and down and again to the side and come back up in a sweeping motion. Bring your palms together again. And again forward, gently, only bend as far as you can go and sweep your hands to the side. Bring your palms together again and down to heart center in Samasthiti. Now from here, bring your hands down to your sides and on your hips. Gently ground your left foot and just move your right ankles, just rotate at your ankle just to lubricate them, to warm them up, and then gently lift your right leg in front with your knee bent at right angles. Now hold your right knee gently open to the right side and back and close to the front and drop your right knee down. Now we do that on the left side. Just ground your right foot and then lubricate and rotate your left ankle, first right to left and then anti-clockwise direction and clockwise direction, just to make it a little bit warmed up. And now from here, with your hands on your hips, lift your left leg up in front of your right angles, your knee bent at the knee. Hold your left knee with your left hand, right hand on your hip, and gently move outwards and gently push your left leg back while you still maintain a straight spine. Only so gently, because you just started your practice for today, so don't push. And bring it back in and down again. Now let's warm up our upper body and stretch a little bit. Bring your hands over your head, palms together. From here, with your index fingers touching, gently bend backwards, drawing a line on the ceiling. Very gently. Don't bend back too much. And now lift from your spine and gently bend forward. Fingertips still touching and take a forward fold. Release your hands and grab the opposite elbows and gently swing from side to side. Release your elbows, let your hands hang loose and come up slowly, one vertebra by one vertebra, and come to standing. Now from here we begin with Sun Salutation A, which is the very basic version. We start in Talasana with your hands over your head and parallel to each other. So I can turn this way. Talasana, and then you bring your hands, inhale and bring your hands down into Talasana or mountain pose. From here, take your hands over your head again and fold forward into Uttanasana or forward fold. Now bring your flat back and come into halfway lift or Ardha Uttanasana. So it should be like this. Keep your back flat, your spine flat. You can just touch the fingertips. So when you're in Uttanasana, you're folding forward and your forehead tries to touch your shins. But in halfway lift, your head is away from your shins. Now from here, inhale, and as you exhale, step back into a plank. Now from here, Lift your hips and come back. Try to place your feet flat and walk a little closer to your hands and come into downward facing dog. Gently walk your dog and again stretch your calf muscles, stretch your hamstrings and push deeper into the ground and lift your hips a little higher. Now let's take 3 deep breaths while we are in downward dog. Inhale. Now on the next inhale, step or jump your feet to your hands, close to your hands and come into a halfway lift. Exhale. Now from here, fold forward into a full forward fold. And on the next inhale, lift your hands over your head and parallel, your palms facing each other and into Talasana. And exhale and bring your hands down into Tadasana. We'll go through this one more time. Inhale, hands over your head. Exhale, come into Tadasana. Again, inhale, hands over your head. Exhale, forward fold to Uttanasana. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, jump back or step back into plank. Go through your vinyasa or you can just step into downward dog, either is fine. Take a couple of breaths in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, get ready, take a deep inhale and step forward to halfway lift. Exhale and come into a forward fold. Inhale, hands overhead into Talasana and exhale, hands down into by your side in Tadasana. Alright, so let's go into classic sun salutation. Start in Samasthiti. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to turn my mat around a little bit so that I can face that side. Okay. Right. Inhale. Exhale. On the next inhale, bring your hands overhead into Talasana. Exhale, fold forward into Uttanasana. From here, inhale, step your right leg back and drop your knee in a low lunge and come into Anjaneyasana. On your next exhale, tuck your right toes, bring your left leg back and come into a plank. And you can either go through your vinyasa in 8-point or you can just go into a cobra or bhujangasana. Tuck your toes, come back up into downward facing dog and exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg high up behind you and step it forward. Hands around your right foot, drop your left knee and bring your hands over your head and lean back into Anjaneyasana with your right knee in front. Take a couple of breaths here. Bring your hands down around your right foot, tuck your left toes, lift your left leg off the ground. And exhale and step forward at the same time. Here, inhale, come up into Talasana, and exhale, come down into Samasthiti with your palms together to heart center. Repeat this one more time. Palms together in Samasthiti, inhale and exhale. Inhale, hands around the sides and over into Talasana. Exhale, fold forward in Uttanasana. Inhale, step your right leg back and drop your right knee. Low lunge and lift your hands over your head in Anjaneyasana. And take your gaze up and back. And hold here for a couple of breaths. You should feel the stretch in your right quads. So try to stretch forward a little bit. Just creep your left toes forward a little so that you can widen, increase your stance. Bring your left hands around your left toes, tuck your right toes. Step your left leg back and come into plank. Hold in plank for, let's say, 12 counts. Drop your knees, drop your chest and slide forward through your hands and come up in Cobra. Lift your torso off the ground and your abdomen off the ground. Take your gaze upwards. The top of your feet should be flat on the ground behind you. And tuck your elbows closer towards your body on the side. Your elbows should not be going outwards but bring them closer inside. Now from here, tuck your toes and come back up. Lift your hips into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high up behind you. Step your right leg forward in between your hands. Drop your left knee and your left foot flat on the back of your foot. Hands up, over and behind you, and lean back. Get a back bend in Anjaneyasana again. Hands around your right foot. Tuck your left toes. Lift your left knee off the ground. Step your left foot forward to meet your right foot. Come into a halfway lift. And from here, bring your hands up into Talasana and palms together and to heart center in Samasthiti. Take a couple of breaths here. And we'll move into Sun Salutation B. Hands over your head in Talasana. So the Sun Salutation B begins with the chair and ends with the chair, or Utkatasana. So So the Sun Salutation B begins and ends with the chair, or which is also known as Utkatasana. So we start with Talasana. Hands over your head, palms facing each other. And from here, inhale and sit low into your chair. So your knees should not go over your toes. You should be able to see your toes. You're just sitting low. So we'll warm up a couple of times in chair. From here, lean forward, bring the chest on your thighs and touch the sides of, go to the sides of your feet with your fingertips and swing your hands back. And again, just graze the mat with your fingertips and come back into chair again. And repeat this a few times. Forward fold, lift your hips, chest on the thighs. Bring your fingertips to the ground and swing your hands back. And swing them back again. And come back up into chair. And one more time. Fold, swing your hands back and bring back into chair. And from here now, you fold down into a forward fold or Uttanasana as we exhale. Inhale and come into a halfway lift. Now from here you have the option of placing your hands in the front or in the front of your feet and stepping or jumping back into a plank. And exhale. Come down into a low plank, or you can come through a cobra or an upward facing dog, and tuck your toes and come back up into a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high up behind you and step it between your hands and pivot your left foot behind you so your left foot is at right angles to your right foot, almost at 45 degrees, and your heels are kind of in a straight line. Adjust yourself, adjust your hips to face forward. 1, 2, so that you're not opening sideways but your hips are facing in the front. And gently bend into your front knee, making sure it doesn't go over your toes. It has to be a right angle. Try to keep it at a right angle. And bring your hands over your head by the sides of your ears in Warrior 1. So while we are in Warrior 1, we'll add in a few extensions and a couple of poses that are not originally traditionally part of the Sun Salutation B, but they also help you to build strength and balance. So in here, bring your palms together to heart center and bring your right hand inside of your right foot. Bring your left hand overhead and form a straight line with your right and left hands and take your gaze upwards. Now bring your palms together again, and now placing your left hand on the outside of your right leg, bring your come on the toes of your or the balls of your left foot and bring your right hand over in a revolved extension, a revolved side angle. Come back, drop your left heel, and from here bring your right leg back to meet your left leg. Come back to a low plank, move through a vinyasa in up dog or cobra, and come into a downward facing dog and take a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, lift your left leg high and step it between your hands. Drop your right heel in line with your left heel and your right foot at about 45 degrees to your left foot. Once you've adjusted your feet and your knee, bending deep into your left knee, adjust your hips to face forward and bring your hands over your head into Warrior 1 on the left side. Bring your palms together. And then place your left hand on the inside of your left foot and your right hand over. And open to the right side. Bring your palms together again. Now pivot onto the balls of your right foot and go to the outside of your left knee. Place your hand to the outside of your left foot and bring your left hand up over, opening up onto the left side. Release, bring your palms together, drop your right heel again into warrior one, hands overhead, fold forward to frame your left foot, left leg steps back to meet the right leg, flow through your vinyasa, come back up into downward facing dog. Now look forward and step your feet close to your hands to the front of the mat and come into a halfway lift. Fold forward and come into a forward fold and sweeping your hands from the side. Bring your hands over and sit into the chair one more time into Utkatasana. And from here, gently release, come back to standing and bring your hands by your side in Tadasana. Take a few breaths here until your breathing is a little bit more gentle and normal. Right, so we'll go through Sun Salutation B one more time, but this time we'll add in Trikonasana. Okay, alright. So let's begin in Talasana. Your hands over your head. And then from here, sit down into your chair or Utkatasana. Fold forward into Uttanasana, step or jump back into a plank, move through your vinyasa. You can do Chaturanga Dandasana and upward facing dog, or you can just go down to 8 point and come to Cobra and then rest in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lift your right leg high up behind you and step it forward in between your hands. Drop your left heel, come up into warrior one. Bend a little deeper into your warrior one. Make sure your hips are facing forward. Now bring your hands down to your hips, and from here you straighten your right leg. Now what you want to do is, when you go into a Trikonasana or triangle pose, most people tend to just go forward and go up like this. But if you do that, you're going to bend forward. You're not supposed to curve your back. It's folding, bending from the hip So you only need to go far as your hip allows you to go. So you're just hinging and moving. So what you want to do is you place your hands behind your back like this. You clasp your hands behind your back and then still standing with your legs in the Trikonasana stance. See how far you can bend. Try going forward and then try going sideways. Now that's as far as your hip actually allows you to go without folding forward. So then what you want to do is you just want to release your hands and then just place them in front wherever your hip stops. And come back up. Place your hands in your hips. Turn to face the front of your mat with your right leg still in front. Bring your hands down in front. Bring your right leg to meet your left leg. Step back and come into a plank. Now we'll cycle from high plank to low plank. So we're in high plank right now. Come into forearm plank and then lift up into a high plank again. Come down to a forearm plank and lift up into a high plank again. Come down to a forearm plank, 3, and lift up to a high plank again. Come to a forearm plank, 4, one more, and lift up to a high plank again. Come down to a forearm plank and lift up to a high plank one more time. And then lift your hips and come into downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high up into the air behind you and step in front in between your hands. Drop your right heel and bring your hands up into warrior 1 on your left foot. So now we are in Trikonasana with the left foot leading, right? So from here, straighten out your left leg and bring your hands to your hips. Grab your elbows at the back. First figure out your range of motion for the Trikonasana and then hinge to the side and then let your hands drop. Your left hand in front of your left knee and your right hand in front of your right hand over your head. Now don't overextend your knee when it's stretched. Always have a slight micro bend so that you avoid injuries. Release, come back up, bring your hands to your hips, turn forward, bend your left knee again into warrior 1 on the left side, bring your hands over your head and bend down, frame your left foot, step your left leg back to meet your right leg and come into a high plank or Chaturanga Dandasana. Once again we cycle through 5 high planks and forearm planks. So forearm down 1, forearm down 2, forearm down 3, forearm down 4, forearm down 5. And drop your knee. Bring your chest in between your hands. Slide forward, up into cobra. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into a downward facing dog, and gently walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Come into a forward fold. And sweep your hands from the sides and up overhead into Thalasana. Come to sit in your chair, Utkatasana. And straighten your knees out and come into Tadasana. From here you can come down to the back, to your back. Lie down on the mat. Bend your left leg. Bring your right knee, right ankle over your left knee. Bring your right leg in. Get a gentle stretch in your right hamstring. Now bring your hands to your side and let your legs drop to the left side with your knees, ankles still over your left knee. Over here you should feel a stretch all the way from your right groin down to your right quads and also a little bit of your right hamstring. Release, come back to center and switch legs. Bend your right knee, foot flat on the ground. Place your left ankle on your right knee and reach under your right knee or around your right knee and bring it in close and get a stretch. And gently drop your legs to the right side. Bring your hands out by your sides and turn to your left side. Come to the center. Release your left ankle from top of your right knee. Let both your legs straighten out. Down in front of you, your hands by your side. And come into your Savasana. And stay here for at least 3 to 5 minutes.